Welcome to the KK Penson TV.
Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel.
We do doll videos, Roblox, baking, and vlogs.
We also do short films such as The Story of Crazy Face, and we also do Talking Hot Showdown.
A special thank you to Blue Blood Sports TV. Thank you so much for your support. We will continue to work hard and bring you more content. Bye!
Show support. Subscribe to KK Penson TV. If you got children, if you got nieces, if you got nephews, if you got little cousins, if you have friends that have kids, make sure they subscribe to KK Penson TV. Please do that. Show love and show support.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. This is Amanda the Real Deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Hi, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Janita.
And you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, MATCHROOM CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn seems to be more willing to offer his fighter, once beaten British heavyweight contender Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, services to the UFC Dana White to fight heavyweight Francis Ngannou, right? So there's been talks that there's a possibility of Dillian Whyte possibly facing a UFC fighter, right? But the kick about this all is that Eddie Hearn is stating that where should the fight take place? He's saying that he believes that the fight, he's going to ask Dana White where the fight should take place after Dillian Whyte fights Alexander Povetkin that's already scheduled. So he says by the end of the year, he's looking to put Dillian Whyte, get this, in the octagon. He says that, he don't believe that Francis Ngannou would have a chance, a real serious chance of beating Dillian Whyte in the boxing ring, right? Tony Bellew, who's a close friend of Eddie Hearn and a close friend of Dillian Whyte, also states the same sentiments, right? But the key thing about this all is this. Shouldn't Eddie Hearn be pushing for the mandatory fight for the championship belt that Dillian Whyte has so been complaining that he's been unfairly just in this entire situation with the WBC sanctioned body when Deontay Wilder was the belt holder and now with Tyson Fury? Shouldn't Eddie Hearn's focus be on that opposed to putting Dillian Whyte in the octagon with a UFC fighter in a crossover fight and saying that would be absolutely massive? So Eddie Hearn is citing that this would be absolutely massive for Dillian Whyte and Dillian Whyte's career. But what happened to the focus of putting Dillian Whyte in the ring for his mandatory opportunity spot, in which he, when Deontay Wilder was the title holder, he claimed that, it's been 600 days, he's not getting his opportunity, he's not being treated fair. You had guys like Paulie Malignaggi, Tony Bellew come out. They state, well, Dillian Whyte should have had an opportunity to fight for a title. Now he's been the mandatory challenger for all this time. But yet Eddie Hearn is saying that after the Alexander Povetkin fight that could take place in the summer, that he's going to push for Dillian Whyte to face Francis Ngannou in the UFC, not even in Dillian Whyte's strength. So he's not even looking to put Dillian Whyte in the best position to be successful. He's looking to put him at a disadvantage in the octagon against Ngannou. Because Eddie Hearn's sole focus for that WBC title is his number one fighter in his promotional company, in his stable. That would be two-time unified heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua getting the opportunity to fight for Undisputed. And he does not want Dillian Whyte to offset that or upset it. So he's willing to put Dillian Whyte in the octagon at a disadvantage, not even in a boxing ring. And Dillian Whyte has no problem with this. I have no clue and no understanding how Dillian Whyte is okay with this after he tells the world and anybody who put a camera in his face that he's being treated unfairly by the WBC sanction body and by the boxer who holds the WBC title, which was Deontay Wilder and now Tyson Fury. But you're willing to go into the octagon at a disadvantage after fighting Alexander Povetkin. There's no mention from Eddie Hearn making mention of you having your opportunity as the mandatory challenger and pushing for that fight at the end of the year. But more so, he's willing to push for you to step in the octagon, not even in the boxing ring where you have a clear advantage. Because Eddie Hearn, Tony Bellew, and everybody else feels like Francis Ngannou would be at a disadvantage if he gets in the boxing ring because he has absolutely no boxing skills. So the fair thing to do is to put Dillian Whyte in the octagon where Francis Ngannou has the upper hand and the advantage and could possibly beat Dillian Whyte. So Eddie Hearn says, this is what he says, quote, obviously Alexander Povetkin is Dillian Whyte's next opponent. But whether it's October, November, or December, I'll be reaching out to Dana White saying, tell me how this works, question mark. Can we actually do this, question mark. Are we going to do it in the ring or are we going to do this in the cage? Are we going to do one round of each, said Hearn, or is it strictly going to be UFC rules? Which Francis Ngannou, end quote, which Francis Ngannou and Dana White are obviously going to state that this needs to take place in the octagon with octagon rules, right? Because he already had one of his superstars cross over to another sport in boxing, and the rules were strictly boxing rules when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather. So you can understand that vice versa, that Francis Ngannou is going to say, well, he's coming into my sport, the rules are the rules in my sport. He has to adapt to my sport. Here go Eddie Hearn again, quote, and Tony Bellew. I think this is a great matchup, and it comes down to whoever lands first. This is what Tony Bellew had to say. It could never happen in a boxing ring. Francis Ngannou stands absolutely no chance inside a boxing ring. Eddie Hearn and Tony Bellew do a show together. It's a completely different sport with a completely different set of rules and totally different techniques. Boxing is so different than MMA. Ngannou doesn't stand a single hope in boxing ring whatsoever. In a cage, I probably make it a 60-40 in Ngannou's favor, purely because he's got the experience with those small gloves on. That's the only reason why I give him that small advantage. So even Tony Bellew is saying 60-40 in favor of Ngannou. So Eddie Hearn, if you're asking why their quotes side by side, is due to the fact that they do a show together. So they're answering together. So this is the focus for Eddie Hearn. For Dillian Whyte to not get an opportunity to fight for a title, but to fight in the octagon in the UFC at a disadvantage that would favor Ngannou and possibly see Dillian Whyte seriously get injured in the fight and definitely lose in the octagon because it's going to go straight to the ground, straight to the canvas, right? It's unbelievable. So I don't want to hear anybody else complaining about Dillian Whyte not getting his opportunity at a mandatory heavyweight title shot, because Dillian Whyte is only focused on that situation is when it was Deontay Wilder. That was full steam ahead. Now it's Tyson Fury. He's semi-steam ahead, right? But he's still not pushing Eddie Hearn to force Eddie Hearn to make the fight for his opportunity to land a heavyweight title. So the only person at fault here is Dillian Whyte. Point blank and period. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Jasmine. Thank you for watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, soy Jasmine. Gracias por ver Sangre Azul Deportes TV. Gracias.